In case you haven't submitted, please submit it now. We will be using that page, menti.com, the entire evening. So don't close it.
Is it necessary? Because I forgot my phone.
Then you have to leave.
Yeah, you probably gotta go. I'm so sorry. No, you can write it. Oh, you should do this though. Please write it on a piece of paper. Oh, thanks. Because it's, it's a little like collecting data. So I really appreciate if you just drop it. And then you just give it to me. It's like nothing. I won't be pointing at you. So this is me. I'm Sabrina Hauptman. I am an innovation coach, freelancing. So I'm focusing on innovation methods, as in when we speak in agile software development terms. I work on the discovery side of things. I have been working a very long time on the delivery side of things. And so I'm not only an innovation coach, I'm also a facilitator, focusing on visual facilitation methods, and I'm a sketchnoter. If you want to tweet or if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's my name that it is. So I've been working now 8 years, or more than 8 years in the professional environment for companies as Xing, what is the German professional network. I've been working for Otto, what is the biggest e-commerce in Germany. And most recently for the multinational travel intermediate eDreams. But I haven't only been working at these companies, I fell in love with the topic. And I kind of been obsessive about this. I wanted to understand what it is that we as human beings need in order to be creative, in order to create innovations. So what I did is very early on, I started to connect to different companies. So I've been working for those 3 companies, but I've been like on the top you see a bunch of companies as in Google and Facebook. I've been visiting companies all over the world, or in the States, in Europe. I've been visiting companies, asking questions, watching them how they do stuff. And I've been also facilitating sessions for different companies. I've been organizing events for them, and I stayed in touch. So this is basically, I'm also a professional networker, I think. After 10 years, I think I can say that, and it wasn't on purpose, it just happened. So that's one thing. And we in our IT world, we are pretty oblivious, in my opinion, when it comes to the topic of creativity. So we speak a lot about tools and methods, and we're here with Agile Warsaw, so when I say tools, you're probably thinking of Kanban and Scrum, PMI, Prince. This whole thing, like all our reality pretty much consists of steering and getting things done. And yet software development is a highly creative job. To me, it's kind of the same thing as being an artist. I don't see much of a difference between someone who writes a book and someone who's creating a beautiful product. Because we don't really know what we're doing. No one ever did basically what we've done before when we started with this whole web development, and every day we learn something new. If it's about the Internet of Things or about coffee machines, there's always something that we learn about technology. No. We can switch it off. Chcemy to wyłączyć. Stop it, stop! Okay, Google. You see it worked. Look. So what I did, I grew up, my brother is a software developer. He started, so this is why it was super easy to me to be in this entire world of IT. But, and so I figured at some point, being someone, I love literature, I love all this creative part of our life. I figured very early on that just seeking for answers within our profession at Xing, LinkedIn, Otto, Google, whatever, it's not really the answer, because it's same but different. Like a German saying goes, everyone just cooks with water, pretty much, right? So there's not much of a difference. So what I started doing is I was reaching out to people who all of us pretty much consider as creative jobs, musicians, DJs, artists, professors, teachers, children, and this is what I've done ever since. My mission is basically to bring innovation through happiness to companies, and I envision doing this through building this network of people from different industries with different perspectives to bring us together, so we're not anymore only Agile Warsaw and speaking from our perspective, but the next session would be just Warsaw and having people from all over industries talking at the same table and solving commonly challenges that we all share. So I'm working with the University of Leuphana very closely. I'm also working very closely with Toast, what is a catering / new health company. And Happy Force, my Happy Force is a product that is for employees to understand employees' happiness in companies. Both of those companies influenced very highly this presentation today and the content. Many of the insights that I bring in today are from Happy Force and Toast Barcelona. So this is what I do. This is the network. This is the context. So I'm here today, like it's almost 10 years of me collecting like crazy this insights and trying to understand what is it, what gives us, like what brings this innovation, what is the deal about this. So I'm here to share this with you and to verify. This is what we should do, right? Because I know nothing, as Jon Snow would say. I know it's pretty much outdated now, but I know nothing. I just know what other people know and what they share with me, and I'm here to share with you what I've learned and also to collect your insights. Warsaw is the third stop on this meetup roadshow. I've been in Hamburg and Berlin. The next stop will be Barcelona, and we're speaking about Amsterdam and Stockholm. And the funny thing will be in Frankfurt. And then once we're done, I'm going to share with you the data. What we've collected, you will see it, and then we'll see where we go from there. So don't put your phones away. It's like the opposite of what every speaker ever tells you, right? Take your phones out. My hypothesis, designed for happiness. Happiness unlocks creativity. Creativity leads to this innovations that we're looking for. And I'm going to walk you through pretty much my hypothesis step by step. This talk today is called The Key to an Innovative Company. And to me, the components of this key are one, happiness, then body and creativity. My friend Sharon from Toast Barcelona, she would say, no, it's productivity. So this is like a nerd discussion going on. And then the third part, innovation tools. This is where it's like more grounded. This is basically when we speak about the discovery side of things, the innovation tools, not the delivery tools. So I grew up as the child of Polish immigrants in Germany. This is why, like, I wanted to do this in Polish, right? But everyone is like, you and your weird accent. So I grew up, my parents came to Germany because it was the promise of a better life, easy money, better education, all this. So I grew up in the belief that once I have education, I get the career going on, and once I get this, I'll be happy. This is what I've believed up until like a year ago. I got this job offer that promised me this huge paycheck, like this paycheck that American stats tell you, you'll be happy. I mean, this is what I believe, right? I read books, I say, oh, if you earn this kind of money, you'll be happy. If you do this, you'll be happy. You know, mom and dad tell you, if you do this, you'll be happy. I'm like, all right, on my way, dudes. I was like waiting for this paycheck to come up. I was about to move to the city that I wanted to live for a very long time in Barcelona. I started working there, and I never felt more miserable than I did when I've been there. Like, literally, I felt an anxiety. I couldn't stop thinking. I felt stressed. I couldn't sleep properly. I broke out. My skin looked horrible. I felt terrible. And I felt super tricked. I mean, my entire career was based on you go to school, you get your career, and then you be happy. I have this paycheck, I'm moving to Barcelona, and I'm like, I don't want to get up in the morning. I hate what I'm doing. I hate my life, right? So this got me thinking, and what I did is I reached out to a business coach, to my friend Chris. I'm like, Chris, listen, I don't know what to do. I started crying at the treadmill, so this is how bad it was. Like, I've been running in the gym and started for no reason, I started to cry, right? Like a stress reaction. And he's like, listen, do a little meditation, will help you. If it won't help you, there will be no harm to it. Been like, all right, breathing. So I tapped into this entire world of mindfulness, of spirituality, and explored that to see what is that brings me back to feeling kind of normal. And what happened through this entire last year, practically, I discovered that there's so much more to it, to happiness, than there is money or education or status, you know? So, and what I found is, I stumbled upon those philosophers in a session, and he was talking about how we are a generation of dreamers because we're living in the age in absence of. So if we're speaking about happiness, what we as human beings need, we need a purpose, we need a dream, we need something to follow. This is why concepts as religions always been working. This is why traditions did work always. And now we live in a time of absence of all those things. And this gives companies, as in Google and Facebook, for instance, just to take the big players, it gives them a completely different relevance in our lives. It gives them the opportunity to give us this dream. I mean, what is Google doing? They give us the dream of contributing to the world, changing the world, making it a better place. This is why people are crazy about working for Google. It's not necessarily, I mean, it's a search engine. Like, honestly, right? It's like, but people, I have friends, they're like, it's their life goal to work for them. And it's because they believe in the dream that they're selling them. So on a personal level, I discovered happiness is not money, nor is it status. On a collective level, philosophers are discussing the concept of dreaming and the relevance of dreaming for us as a society. And then on the other hand, there's companies who want to make money, basically, right? I want to survive. Companies are facing this whole bunch of buzzwords around them. Digitalization, digital nomads, automatization, all those things that just in this super fast-paced world make it very hard for a company to feel like they maintain a pace that is adequate to what is happening in the world. And companies' answer for survival are innovations, right? Like after agility, now it's innovation. Like if we talk in hashtags, there's another one. And companies want innovations because of the profit. And you get profit through relevance. So if we just think Spotify revolutionized the world of music because it found a place in our world. It found a place in our lives. Not all of us, but if we're looking on a global level on it, Spotify changed the way that we interact with music. So did Google change the way that we interact with knowledge. So this is what companies want. And companies do an awful lot for this to make innovation happen. They give us playground, they give us bananas, they give us yogurt. They're like, now go people, give me some innovation. And yet, 94% of managers were dissatisfied with the company's innovation performance. That's a study made by McKinsey. And McKinsey, everyone has an opinion on them, but they definitely have a huge amount of companies who they work with and a lot of data that they collect. And they're dissatisfied because they spot that only 15% of their employees actually contribute to their innovation efforts. And this is also data that Happy Force has concluded. And what I, from my personal experience, also would sign. I would say it's like 15 to 20%, not more. What's with the other 85? Just think about this relationship, 15 to 85. This is happening because we're looking at the wrong question to begin with. So we're asking for the innovations, we're asking for the money. So we're asking for the output. As a human, I've been looking for happiness, but I haven't been looking for happiness, I've been searching for the money. Been like, how can I get the job, best paid? Like, I won't lie, this is like how I was steering myself through this with this question. And my personal mission was to understand how to create an innovative organization. So this is what I've been doing for 10 years. Like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And what I learned now is the question is different. Like, how can we create this happy organization? Back to my hypothesis, design for happiness. Happiness unlocks creativity. Creativity leads to the innovations. Innovations are only the natural output of happy people. But what is happiness? Take out your phones. Enter this code. It's always a different code for a different question. 40, 89, 10.
So single words we should use?
Yeah, you can also, yeah.
Or sentences?
Whatever you want. Whatever makes you happy.
But not nasty.
I don't know what's...
Is your happiness? Your guest.
There you go. I'm no judge of the answers. This is, as I said, data collection. So this is me being more or less professional with this tool. It's a word cloud, so the biggest words are those you guys submitted the most frequent. You really, like, does WhatsApping also take you this long? Come on, it's just a few words.
It's a very hard question.
It is, good. Good answer. So it's purpose, freedom, family, self-realization, wife. Oh, she loved to hear that. You should send her that. Whoever wrote that, send it to your wife now. She'd be like, oh, baby, I love you. I cooked the best meal for you. State of mind, travel, love, health, spirituality, holiday, creation, kasha, recognition, free time, kasa. Kasa, pieniądze! Jak to? Ale to Kasia. Nie, to jest i. Nie, to nieprawda, bo to pisze i. Kasia. Dreams, wealth, mastery, journey, to do things that gives recognition, relation, pizza, free time, joy, meaning for life, smile in the morning, work and with family, self-realization, warmth, relevance, fulfillment, creativity, own place.
There's sex in the middle.
Good that you're pointing that out. Who was it? So it says, oh, you see what happened? We're in a Catholic country after all, people. Don't say that, no. It says,
For some freedom.
it says sex here, yeah, just for the record, yeah.
Love is bigger.
Where's the gin tonic? What happened to the gin tonic? Like, damn it. Holiday, staying in the moment, satisfaction of a good job, connected, satisfaction, hobby, friends, ease, self-development, being part of a desire. What else? Pizza we had, recognition, mastery, lack of force to do anything, people you like around you, improving, fun, goal fulfillment, family, freedom, purpose, balance, love, career, holiday, enjoy, influencing reality, autonomy, no problems, peace, state of mind, peace of mind, do what you like, joy from inside, freedom, success, growing, adventure, flow, productivity. Did I miss something? Art?
You don't have money?
Cash. So it was a typo, huh? Sorry, Kasia, it wasn't for you. So this is what you guys said.
I must ask this question, about your
Barcelona story.
Yeah.
The real reason was that because the paycheck was in pesetas?
They have euro. It's Catalonia. For one, it's Catalonia. We have euro. No, I never said that. I'm no political. So, but there's no money on it. Good point. There was wealth, I think. So this is your definition. So this is what is on top of your mind when you're thinking of happiness. And it's a super broad concept. And there's many, many definitions out there. The one that I go with is happiness is a sense of fulfillment. Happiness is not a constant feeling of pleasure till exhaustion. Many times we confuse this, like sex is not happiness, it's constant pleasure. You'd be dying, you will lay on the ground, you'd be like, just let me sleep, you know. This is like, and food, pizza, how much pizza can someone eat before like throwing up? It's like, this gives us all dopamines, right? But it's like a rush. Happiness is not the feeling of a constant rush. Fulfillment. This is according to Matthew Ricard. He's a former neuroscientist, and he's a child of two philosophers, and now a monk. And what he's talking about, so he's been through this. He's been through, and he's been studying this on a very sophisticated level. And I agree with him. And as we go, so why do I agree? For one, so this topic of happiness, because I'm young, right? And people are like, oh, but you're young, happiness, you pretend that you don't care, but da-da-da. It's not a matter of age, the question of happiness. It's been always there, the question. Like it's one of the most ancient questions in human history to understand what is that makes us really happy. It's Plato and Aristotle right there. And you can look it up. According to positive psychology, there is 3 factors that determine our happiness. It's how our genes, how we genetically determined. 1, our DNA. 2nd, mindset and activities. 3rd, external factors. I'm like, now step by step, I'll walk you through this. But first, 50% determined by our DNA. 50%. We're born this way. 50%. 40% mindset and activities. So there's people, in companies or in private life, they're like, the weather sucks, it's because I'm having a day off, right? Or I can't change it. It's them, it's not me. This is mindset. But there's also different kind of mindset. So it only leaves 10% for external factors. And this is not only one study that is speaking about this, several studies. 10% external activities. You're like, what? I kid you not. What are 10%? So this gray line here, this is I just made that up, just for the sake of a visualization, right? Like this line, this is no scientific, this is just a line. So imagine this is your predetermined happiness factor. And then you get yourself a car. The blue line is external stuff, like buying stuff, one external factor. And I really want to have this SLK, and I would really want this car for a very long time, right? So once I get this car, my happiness goes up. I feel this rush. And it might stay for a little longer because I've been thinking about this for a very long time. Like a car is a big investment. Different though, if I'm talking about my beloved MAC lipsticks. A MAC lipstick is 20 euro each. I love them. I get into the store, I'm like, oh, what is the best MAC lipstick you're having right now? I'm trying them, I'm getting them, I'm leaving the store, I'm like, that's it. It's gone, the rush is gone. Literally, the minute I leave the store, basically, or the H&M dress for $10, who cares, right? You get it, you leave it. So this is what happens with with buying stuff. We get it, we have the rush, so it goes up, but it eventually drops down to our genetically predetermined happiness level. And other external factors are the country that we live in, if there's peace or not, if we have a social stable home, if we have an income, if we have food. This is external factors. 10%, please, like I was just ask yourself, how much time do you spend personally with this 10%? Like, I'm a lot, like 10%, I'm going to work, at least for, right? You're going to work. You're thinking of investments. You're talking about those investments. You've you've maintenance costs, so I get my SLK, but it breaks. I need to go to the garage to fix it. I mean, I just have a bike, but this bike, like I'm spending an awful lot of time in the bike shop because there's always something with my bike. So 10%. Mindset and activities, 40%. Let's take a look at that. So it's again. So this is mindset and activities, horse riding in the woods, nature in general, being active, hitting the gym, love, reading, writing, making music, painting, activities. Also meditation. I speak about meditation in a bit. It's again the same thing. Here I visualized our predetermined happiness. And the pink line is what happens if we develop certain activities and mindsets that are positive, that give us a sense of fulfillment. And there's a study, when I started doing this meditation, I've been like, meditation, really? You know, I'm like, I was raised in this kind of go to school, study, do your stuff properly, and you'll be fine. And then there's like someone, oh yeah, just sit on a mat and breathe. I'm like, really? That's so weird. So I read up on it before I did anything. And there's a study made on people who've been meditating for 3 months. Every day, 20 minutes. 3 months, 20 minutes. And what they did, they took brain scans of the people who attended. So there was 2 groups, obviously, right? And they took brain scans. On the left hemisphere of our brain, there's this level for depression. There's the center for depression. On the right hemisphere of our brain is the center for compassion. And what happened after only 3 months, 20 minutes meditation every day, the level for compassion grew and the one for depression shrunk. And I'm not making that up. This is one study amongst many, many, many different studies saying that 20 minutes is an awful lot of time meditating. Like I'm practicing now meditation for a year almost. And like sometimes I've like 6 minutes. I'm like, oh God, there was like an hour. And I'm looking at the time like, damn it, still not there. You know, so you have like, it's super hard. It sounds so easy, 20 minutes. But like literally 20 minutes changes your brain in a very positive way. I think that's sick. 10 and 40%. Think about it. How much time do you invest in the 10% and how much in the 40%? No shit. This is true, according to science.
Can some disagree?
Sorry?
Can some disagree?
Obviously.
Okay.
It's, science. There's always. It's always a matter to discuss. But what happened to the brain, this is like, it's been only just like a few people, but still, it's ongoing research. It's very fresh, it's very new, it's positive psychology. The field is developing on daily basis. It's amazing what they do.
It appears as if it was, like fat cats statistics. People who are, stable Western European economics, they don't have the usual problems, or some of them. Because I believe statistically there is much more people who are not driven by the fun side, but also are driven by the happiness is lack of a problem. If we do some statistics like who has a toxic family problem, who has a a love problem, who has a health problem, etc. I believe if it's not, like 25 to 35, everyone healthy, everyone happy, but employees from, 25 to 65 in average company, you would have at least half of the people who are driven by the, problem solving. Happiness is lack of a problem. Happiness is lack of illness. Happiness is lack of, Swiss franc mortgage. Happiness is lack of...
According to science, happiness is literally if you feel calm. This is happiness. And we talk about, I have data from Happy Force, how they assess happiness in companies. This is a very good transition to the next one. And I would love to discuss afterwards. I think we're going for gin tonic afterwards, I heard, right? So Happy Force. This is a company that is influencing this work big times. And not because they pay me to. It is because I truly believe in their product. It's amazing. Like, the company values are mastery, purpose, autonomy. Like, come on. I'm like, Alex, really? This is ever since we're working together on this topic. And this is the tool. You see here the tool. On the phone, this is what an employee sees once the company has a tool. You can submit every day how you're doing, or you can steer the questions. You can ask for a specific event, how did you like it, or how was the last quarter, or what is on your mind. You can ask whatever you want. It's right. You have a back office. On the visualization of the screen, you see here the back office for the ones who are managing the tool, and this is data coming in, and it's all anonymous data. Interestingly enough is that the participation on Happy Force is 80% and 50% on a daily basis. 80% monthly, 50% daily. What is a lot? Like, this is right there, data, it's a lot. I've seen the data stack for the company that I've worked for before, and it's beautiful stuff. So I literally, by looking at Happy Force, I knew that we can't do remote work because we don't have the technical infrastructure. And I could put together a list of initiatives just based on the Happy Force input. So it's really hands-on data that you collect. So basically, the idea of Happy Force is to bridge the communication. As a manager, so this is employer-manager relationship. As a manager, you probably have your 10, 15, 5 employees. It's not as easy to speak to them on a daily basis, right? And then you can scale the organization, and it's not only that the manager has lost the connection or has never had a connection, but it's also between the people, like across hierarchies, across roles, everything. So it's bridging the communication based on the pillars of anonymity and transparency. People submit, they can leave a comment. I can vote if I agree or if I disagree with that comment. I don't think you can comment on the comment, but you can agree or you can disagree. And this leads to focusing on the content rather on who, because me being in those companies and collaborating with many companies is usually, it's them again. It's again this person. It's always the same one complaining. So we live in this kind of beliefs about people, and the ones who speak up, they get pretty much judged at some point. And this tool helps you to take this away, because in this way, you can really collect smart feedback. And on the other hand, you get this trust. Because people feel comfortable, and once you use this data, once you actually speak back to the employees, then you can feel the difference very, very quick. So what Happy Force did, this is 200,000 comments in Happy Force that they've analyzed across different industries. So it's not only IT, because we are, in IT, we are kind of in our bubble, beautiful, we have a lot of money, we can do whatever we want, but there's also different jobs. There's producing a car is probably not as, fancy with us with our table soccer and stuff. So it's across industries. And what they found is an 80-20 relationship that inverses. So when employees consider themselves happy, so when there's a high level of happiness in a company, happiness is defined by Happy Force with you're happy with the relationship to your manager, you feel well, and you feel like you have a good work-life balance. It's some of the factors how they define happiness. If a company gets a high rating on this level, on this happiness factor, they get 80% of innovations, ideas, suggestions for the product, for processes, for all of this. And only 20% are complaints about hygiene factors. And when I'm saying hygiene factors, I mean paycheck, holidays, sabbaticals, work-life balance, it's microwaves, food, hygiene factors. Toilet paper, it's not soft enough. I heard that. I kid you not. This is a thing.
It should be at least 3 layers.
I kid you not. This has also been seen on Happy Force.
Reprinting.
Like there's no food I can bring to my family, you know. And the other thing, it inverts once the happiness level is low in a company. So what happens is you have 80% of comments regarding hygiene factors, 20% innovative ideas. And Deli, one of the Happy Force colleagues, she said, she was telling the story of this client that came and was asking to implement Happy Force to get innovative ideas. And then he ended up with complaints and complaints and complaints about the microwave. And he came back, he's like, excuse me, what is wrong with this tool? It's not working. Why? And what happened, so they started looking into this and they didn't have to go far to realize there's only like a handful of microwaves for the entire stack of employees. So what they had to do is, it was about lunchtime. They walked up to the microwave and they had to wait for like 30 minutes or whatever to get the food warmed up. And of course, like this annoys like the shit out of you, right? You were like, oh, I need to go, I have the meeting in a minute, I need to leave. So the people, like the employees have been preoccupied with the hygiene question. They've been hungry. Like they can't think. You can't, you need to feed me. If you don't feed me, I'm just like tired and annoyed the entire day.
So a short question. Should you just use your application to discover this big lane in the microwaves? It was it was unnoticed before.
Some companies are oblivious to this kind of obvious things because they think it's not necessary enough, yeah? This is what Happy Force does. It does neutralize this kind of things and gives it a data stack. So if there's not only Sabrina coming up and be like, but the microwaves, but if there's all of a sudden 500 comments, you have a thing going on.
Okay. So just provided the hard facts.
Yeah. Happy Force data. This is happiness. This was us speaking about happiness. Take out your phones. Next question coming up. Drum roll. I don't want to expose you. This is why I'm just like, I will take it afterwards. Keep writing. That's the code, 393065. Someone really needs to get late in this room, I'm just saying. And they're like, oh no, it's not anymore one person. What is interesting, this is definitely cultural differences, I gotta say. So obviously sex, joy, freedom, ideas, flow, mindset, freedom, thinking, innovation, new approach, comfort, great, monkey, fresh ideas, thinking, play, no rush, practical, difference, simplicity, brainstorm, discovering new things, invent new things, limitless, doing what I like, vision, express yourself from the heart, discovery, energy, connecting dots, new idea, new approach from the heart, necessary, future, play, innovation, simplicity, difference, universe, practical, making ideas, good atmosphere, discovery, passion, improvements, vision, solution, solving a problem, mindset, finding alternative ways, transforming impossible, talent, fresh air, coming up with ideas, no standard thinking, solving real problems, making life easier, interesting solutions. Great. Did I forget something? Play, flow, practical, vision, future. So this is, thank you, I love it. So cool. I still need to learn how to properly handle this tool, but I'm on it. And there's so many different definitions of creativity, and I go with this one. Creativity is connecting what we already know. Creativity is not magic, nor is it a talent, it's a way of operating. There's so many myths around creativity. It's like, oh, this artistic people, they do their stuff and then they come up with the shiny things. This is what we think. We think like, I've heard this so many times, I'm not creative. Like kids are, but like, we put these restrictions when it comes to creativity. But think about it, connecting what we already know. Because a creative solution is knowledge plus new connection equals creative solution. That's it. That's pretty much the definition of a creative solution. As human beings, our brains are wired for problem solving. This is how we are. Like, watch kids. They like the entire day they're trying to figure out how to put something in there. You know, like how does this toy work? How can I put this together? They're trying to solve problems the entire day. You said that earlier when we started. Someone said that it's problem solving. And actually, this whole automation discussion going on, all this, not discussion, but the automation of things, this is actually, in my opinion, the liberation of humankind. Like, finally, stop doing stupid stuff. Think about it. Working as a cashier in Tesco the entire day, 9 to 5, neat, 30 years. Wow, like really, this is why we have this machine for?
You can meditate.
You can meditate on that. But I do.
All day of meditation. Think about it.
Think about it. Good point. I think about it. Glass is half full.
Yes.
Still, automation. No, buy online. Sorry, no meditation. But what does creativity need? But for the certain mindset of believing in yourself that you're creative, there's certain things from a nutritional perspective that we need to consider. Because this is a body, this is blood, skin. I mean, we're functioning. We are not like, like we need fuel to function. And this is by Toast Barcelona, what this company found. And the pillars they have 3 pillars. It's mindfulness practice, it's healthy habits, and it's easy recipes. What Sharon is doing with Toast. Basically, I have no time to eat clean or to eat healthy and all this. Think about this. You need to be creative. We work in a creative profession. We need to be creative. What does our body need to become creative? The right food. Why nutrition? I started talking to her because I felt this stress. And I'm a little, like, I love this entire topic of like sports and healthy food. I find this very interesting. And then from the stress perspective, I started talking to her about this. And there's actually stress-causing foods and stress-reducing foods. I didn't know that. I don't know. And about stress, I learned that it's a hormonal response. Stress can lead to endless worries. I had that, check. You're like angry, you can't really, you're very easily emotional. This can lead to burnout, weight gain or loss, and it can lead to serious diseases, like serious diseases. I mean, we also, like, there's always this brain tumors based on because you had stress, right? People who mainly ate fried food, processed meat, refined grains, high-fat dairy products, and sweetened desserts had a 58% higher risk of depression than those who ate whole foods such as fruits, fish, and veggies. Like depression, think about this. I think it's crazy. Sharon has an entire talk on like nutrition and all this, which is super interesting. I just bring this in because like I know nothing about this. Yeah.
But was it about causation or correlation? For example, if I'm
I'm like, what?
causation or correlation, because for example, I'm rich, I can afford buying good quality food, or for example, a chef works for me, or someone at home, versus someone who has like no time because they need to work two jobs to support their family and have time only for Big Mac.
So this is a big misconception, as in what we found, the time that it takes to fix yourself fresh and healthy food versus the time it takes to fix fast food. It's the same time investment. It's literally like we found that people don't understand the difference between healthy food and non-healthy food. So like people, like for instance, sausages. That sausages are healthy and like healthy meat. They're not. We don't know what's in there. Like if you look at the ingredients of sausages, there's no good in there.
There's no meat in it.
There's no meat in there even. Damn it. Like, or like cheeses. So all this kind of thing. And it's obviously if you don't have time and you live in Poland and you don't have like many fast food vegan options available, that's a different thing, because McDonald's is like, I don't know, it's €1. I know a burger. I don't know how much zloty it is. But it's obviously easy accessible, but this is habits. This is unlearning the habit of how can I avoid this? And like some tips to change your life in a way that you can do like tomorrow to boost your creativity and your productivity in a very easy way is for good sleep, almonds, tea, warm milk. I don't know how to pronounce it, this is why I just go to tea. To boost your immune system is you can try oranges, but you need like that many oranges, or lemons. You can fix your food with chili peppers, parsley, broccoli, red bell peppers. Energy, have a ginger shot, like it's very strong. Concentration, ice cold water, green tea. And for mood, dark chocolate, rooibos tea, and drinking a lot. Like this is all not, it's no rocket science. It's not hard to do. It's just a matter of what are you putting in your basket once you at Tesco or Lidl.
Or be drunk.
Or be a dronka. Obviously. Yeah, I learned that Carrefour, they actually in French is Carrefour or something. I'm like, really? We always say Carrefour. That's wrong.
Can I take a picture of this?
Claro que sí. I will share the slides once we're done with this roadshow everywhere, then with the results of what you guys say. Third question, what is innovation? Phones. Menti.com, do it, yeah? Phones up, take a selfie, 42, 46, 25. Dziękuję. Psst. No. Just joking. Disrupt something new, make life easy and smart, process of creation, result of happiness, speed, new things, data too, groundbreaking, reinventing, redesign, new approach, transformation, empathy, future, mumble rap. I don't know what that means. No, like I honestly don't like. I'm just watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Huh?
Little Yachty.
I still don't know what that means.
New wave of hip hop.
Oh, really? I need to check that out because I'm watching now the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm rebrushing my
That's
Voske.
like old school.
Yeah, I will write it down. Step ahead of competitors, new ways of doing something, make life easy and smart, solution, change, easy life, ease, race, experimenting, new methods, fruit of creation, changing the world, ideas, experiment, highest level, technology, applied experience, new ideas, applying solutions, achievement, problem solution, new industry idea, accessibility, invent, surprise, new look, disrupt, new things, searching for answers, step ahead of competitors, we had that, idea, improvement, change, solution, future, changing how things are. Beautiful. So innovations are a new solution to an existing problem. We don't invent the world every day new. There's always new ideas. So innovations don't need to be new to the entire world. Innovations is something that can be new to you, or to me, to us as this group in this room, to the organization that I'm working for, can be new to the world, obviously. But innovations have there's different grades of innovations. Grades. I don't know if you can say grades. Can you say grades? Steps. I'm like, you know. Stages, there you go. But the one thing is, like, I love Phil McKinney. Phil McKinney is one of the innovation gurus, to me at least. He says innovation without execution is a hobby. And I sign that. Many companies, they do like, oh, let's do innovation. And they never release anything to the company, to the customer. What's with that, right? And the other thing, and now me being really humble, and without processes and structures, they're luck. So me working 8 years in agile software development, we talk about Scrum, Kanban, Prince, we like fighting about that shit, sorry. But we fight about that, right? And then we're like, we need to steer delivery, and how much story points can we get, and how many projects can you finish? And then when it comes to innovation, to creativity, everyone is just like throwing tissues up, and they're like, oh, let's see what happens. They're like, oh, that's just shit, we don't need that. Excuse me, you haven't thought about this. Like, what it's about structures and processes for creativity and innovation. This is what we need. Structures and routines, repetition and variety. We need defining a problem, not a solution. I mean, who doesn't know that? I want this pink button. I want to have the same feature as whatever company your competitor is. I want to have that instead of, what is the problem you're trying to solve? Your customer can't find the buy button. And what is the expected outcome? Expectation management. So we go like, oh, do some innovation. And then people look at it, they're like, oh, I'm disappointed with this. I expected something better. Well, what did you expect? Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, there you go. If you don't know, there's nothing we can discuss. I've been obsessing with this. I'm not joking. Like, I started doing, especially innovation management, very early on in my career. And it's always the same discussion in all companies. No difference. Universities, schools, Auto, Xing, eDreams, Holiday Check, all of them. Same. We need both. So we're talking about this agile revolution, right? What is here like knowledge tasks. And then we talk about creativity that I call here conceptual tasks. We know how to build software. Today, in the 21st century, we know how to build up a web platform. We even can use virtual reality without knowing a lot about this. We can do it. We understood the concept of programming itself, right? So we know how to do this knowledge. We don't know how to make someone fall in love, like how to get the Spotify effect. For the knowledge tasks, what we need is psychological safety, we need predictability and comfort. This is what we're getting with agile teams. Every day you see the same faces, you have the same ceremonies, you get up in the morning, you're like, oh, that's what I did yesterday, that's what I'm doing today, that's my obstacle. You do this, you repeat, right? And you're in this bubble. And you know the outcome is incremental innovations. You have a backlog. I mean, the items in the backlog, they're super small. They're like changing adding a shadow, changing the library. It's like small things. And we have a name for this: incremental innovations and maintenance. But we have a name for it: incremental innovations. This is what you can expect having an agile team going on. On the other hand, conceptual tasks, creative tasks, they also need psychological safety, but they don't need predictability and comfort. They need quite the opposite. They need disruption. Like, we need to feel the sense of being uncomfortable to get into the mood of like to start this problem-solving engine. And we need a high energy environment. Like an agile team, the pace is very chill, it's very slow. We need quite the opposite when it comes to innovations, higher than incremental. And we need teams that they don't need to be stable. We want to see people that we don't see every day. It gives a little juice. And the outcome then is additive or disruptive. So usually when we talk about innovations, we talk about the Ubers and Spotify's, but I like the Lego example. So Lego's core business is the brick. If they change the color a bit, that's incremental innovation for the brick. And then they decide having a Marvel collection. It's still the brick. It's still the core business, the brick. It's additive, but it doesn't need them to change the entire structure of the company. But different when Lego opened their theme park. They had no idea about the theme park. They had like bricks. How can you know how to run a theme park with like safety, like not killing kids? You know what I mean? It's a theme park, right? So that's disruptive innovation. So we have different horizons of innovation that we can steer through looking at this way, like as one step. And the tools that I'm using to be now speaking to you from nerd to nerd, method nerd to method nerds. My favorite tools for steering innovations is one is design thinking. So there's companies, they introduce design thinking as like a mindset. Design thinking is a method and a methodology. Methodology is like the mindset, what do you think? You're thinking of problems. A problem is a desire, a wish, something you want to change. It's a way of thinking in perspectives, not in role descriptions. This is design thinking. It's a different way of interacting with someone around, with people around you. But it's also a project management method. It is, you have a project, you have a whole bunch of stakeholders. I've been working in highly political environments, companies that are like 60-year-old, and you have the people that, but no, I need this is my budget, otherwise I don't get my bonuses, right? This is like, most of the companies are like this. So design thinking helps you fostering this alignment. It helps you going through this process of, let's say, take a step back. Of course, no one wants to take away the bonuses, but let's still create value and giving you the bonus at the same time. Design thinking is a beautiful tool for stakeholder alignment and for actually doing the right thing for the customer. Who of you knows this optical illusion? You guys know that? So what do you see?
Weed.
Weed. I mean like smoking weed.
Oh, weed.
Which? Wishful thinking. I'm like, maybe that's on me. Yeah? So, what do you see? Who, like, young woman?
Young and old woman.
Old woman? So that's the thing. We know. We don't know whether someone else sees here. It's a study from the 70s. They've done it many, many times at school, at universities. We know we don't know. Yet, in businesses, we don't embrace it. So what we do in businesses is we like with our nice flip chart, and then we use a red pen, and then we start writing, or we have our PowerPoint presentation with the bullet points, and we just putting it on people. We have discussions about back-end structures, architecture, being like, oh yeah, like people explaining them. You're like, excuse me, who in the world can follow this? It's impossible. So basically, I use visual language as a tool to foster communication, to make people talk. And one thing, there's this dual coding theory that says the connection between hand and brain is the fastest once you connect it through a pen, not writing. Super fast, highway. And doing this, using visual language is not only helping you to remember better, it's like they say 20% higher memory increase by 20%. It also changes the dialogue completely. So this is why I'm calling myself a visual facilitator. I do facilitate. I had this training of facilitation. How do you stand next to the flip chart? How do you talk to people? Yeah. But what I do is I give people the pen and go like, draw it, draw it, draw it. And they're like, oh, God, I hate you. All right, whatever. And then you see beautiful things happening. Whatever age. Because they took it away from us at school. This is why I dislike the educational system big times. Labs and centers, innovation labs, accelerators. It's often, especially when you're working in a traditional company, it's hard to change this company. And it's very, I think it's very honorable to want to change the entire company, but it's a mission impossible kinda, because you're trying to take away people's jobs. You like, it's insulting to many people being like, no, that's wrong now, we gotta do it completely different. So a solution that is like in between and gives you like poco a poco, as they say in Spanish, like step for step, the change is through introducing actually a company within the company, outside the company structures. Beautiful labs. I've been just at the PwC Innovation Lab in Frankfurt. PwC, ever heard of them? They're right there. They have the most beautiful, energetic, crazy environment in the same building as all the other consultants, and it works. Like numbers speaking for themselves. It works for them.
Does the company know about the in company?
Yeah, they know. It's super expensive. They know. It's impossible to hide. But if you want to meet them, like if you want to visit them, text me and I connect you to them. It's beautiful. It's like really an experience to see how like at PwC.
It's implication then.
I would. Hackathons.
I love that.
Why you love hackathons?
I read this I love hardcore.
Oh, okay. I'm like, so that's the thing working in IT. So a hackathon is an event for people in product development to create ideas very fast. Time box, innovations, right? And I've seen so many shitty hackathons because they don't create value at the end. And then the management is like, oh, I knew this wouldn't like no good will come out of this. But they still use it because it's kind of state of the art. Google does it, Facebook does it. Let's get some pizza and beer, and the software developers are quiet for a bit. That's literally how they use it. I've been through this discussion and again and again and again and again. What is it you want? What is the expected outcome? What is the level of innovation you want? Why do you want it? What is your criteria to assess the ideas that people bring in? How do you make sure that people give you the right idea? Like the design rule of constraints inspire creativity is so true. Like with no constraints, people don't know what to do. They're all over the place. All of a sudden, from incremental innovation in an agile team, bug fixing to do whatever you want. It's impossible. It's not working. I love hackathons because they have, if you use them wisely, they can change the company's culture. I have a small video in a minute. And then the last one, conferences, trainings, and building a network. So whatever doing, like we send people in companies to conferences or to meetups to get outside inspiration. But I always would suggest starting with the inside view. What do we have in here? Who do we have? A project manager isn't a project manager. Maybe you have a design background. Maybe you are a pilot in your in your spare time. We don't know what kind of superpowers people have around us if we're not starting to connect them. And it's a beautiful thing to connect them through conferences. And also just offering trainings. I always do this when I'm in a company. I'm like, oh, let me do a visual training. And I'm just offering what I know. I want to show a bit of that video to give you an idea, when I speak hackathon, what it can be. So this is a project that I did at Otto. Otto is a 60-year-old company. Like so many people, super traditional, super hierarchical. By the book. So we did a hackathon. And what we did is we designed the hackathon for innovation to happen. We started with a discussion. What do we want? What do we need as a company? What are we doing? What are we doing with the outcome? And then we started the hackathon with a conference. We call it University. So the idea of the university was, for one, giving people inspiration with outside speakers. And on the other hand, we organized knowledge sessions. What do you need in order to innovate? Creating prototypes. Learning how to program with virtual reality. This kind of stuff. We provided it. And then there was this conference before the hackathon. We had the hackathon with very sophisticated criteria for the jury to be judged at the end. We had teams, we had everything set up for people to move in to the office, basically, but they've been home. It was in Germany, right? Everyone was home. But we created this environment of high intensity, high energy, high speed, like bam, 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 with food and play and toys everywhere around them. And then, see, we even had this, like our classical beer and hello. And then it ended with these beautiful presentations where we invited up to 500 people. This was the maximum capacity of the room that we could do. So we made sure that there was enough people to applaud, to give a hand to the software developer who had the cojones, who had like the courage to get up on stage and fight for the idea and share this idea to win. And the prize was you could develop the idea. No money, no better position. No, it's you get to work on your idea because we believe in the quality of your idea. And it really left a lasting change. And we designed the hackathon based on those things, those dimensions: focus, play, interaction, rest. Those are things that I found are crucial for innovation. We had a filmer, like the first session that we did, and he's like, Sabrina, I don't understand that. I can't wrap my head around this. So people work the entire day. He's filming music videos, right? He's like, people sit there in front of the computer the entire day. And that's it. There's no time for playing. Like when I work, I go and hit the PlayStation, I go for a run, I do whatever. So this is like based on this kind of feedback, we redesigned the hackathons, and this is the conclusion that we had, like for now, how you can design it so it's lasting. One thing is you have all these different tools and methods. The other thing is, what do you actually think? What do you think determines how you feel, and how you feel leads to how you act. I want to leave this session with giving you this homework of a little introspective. Watch your thoughts, watch your own language. How do you speak to yourself? Are you nice? Being like, wow, you did a good job today at the meetup. Damn girl, you rocked. Or are you like, God, the people seem bored. It was like good enough. You've been between this and the other tool. It didn't really seem professional. How do you speak to yourself? Question number one. And then how are people around you speaking with you and interacting with one another? Are you getting up in the morning, getting to the stand-up, and you're like, oh, she's again late. Always. Disrespectful. Same shit every day. And you're already annoyed. The management, they never change anything. They always just talk. I don't like these companies. All other companies are better. What is the language that you hear around you? What is it? Write it down. I did it. No joke. This is what I usually do whenever I'm in like a new environment. I write it down. I have a notebook. I write it. I'm not like next people like, oh, hear what you're saying? No. Like introspective, and also being aware of your environment, because this is what is steering us.
But it works both ways. You know, if you act like happy, you become happy.
That is true. That is so true. Because what we want to do is we want to move from a compliance culture, what they say, like this is, when you hear these things, this is a hint for this kind of negative culture. Fear management, external motivation, command and control. We want to move from this culture to a creativity culture because this makes innovation impossible. If you mean to yourself, if you're like, I hate my life and all stupid and I'm always unlucky, this is your life. The self-fulfilling prophecy, they call it also. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Same on the global, on a scale level in companies. Design for happiness. Happiness unlocks creativity, and that leads to innovative solutions.
Just for example, if you're in the surrounding of negative-oriented people, you begin to behave the same.
That is contagious. Exactly. Good that you already realize this. Really, many people don't. Even with friends, you're the average of the 5 people surrounding you, they say. Think about the 5 people who surround you, actually. Do you want to be part of them? You know? Do you want to be like them? Thanks, guys. I would love you to get the Menti if you feel like dropping feedback. Again, Mentimeter, same thing. And this was not only my work, this is the work of Happy Force, of Toast Barcelona, and my work. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you provide us with the reference for this research, for this
Claro que sí.
50, 40 and 10%?
Yeah. I will, like, once the roadshow ends, I'll be sending all the materials, all the context, like everything at once. Because I want to also share the collection of the data. Obviously, I will share it. Obviously.
Will publish this on
Yeah.
Another question?
I read somewhere that happy people, happy employees aren't always productive employees, but productive employees are happy.
It's the other way around. I mean, in what context did you hear that?
If somebody feels being productive is automatically happy.
What is productivity like? We're thinking about productivity.
Number of pictures per second?
Per second? Ooh. Psh.
Just kidding.
I think that's, this is somehow subjective to the everybody. Somebody takes, satisfaction from doing some repetitive tasks, and somebody from being creative. So, if at the end of the day somebody feels productive, it's he also feels happy.
Like, according to science, it's like the concept of flow. So, like, once you get into a state of flow and you're like, you're working and you don't know where the time went by, right? It's just like hours went by. And according to science, you can only reach the state when you're not when you're happy. That means also like the absence of fear. So someone who is afraid, people can't function once they're afraid. This is wired in us. So we see a tiger, we see a lion, we're afraid, we want to run. We forget that the woods are beautiful. We forget that the flowers we've never seen before. We see danger and we need to run. And this is the same thing that happens in companies when there is the threat, for instance, of being fired. There's companies, fear-driven companies, that tell people every day, if you don't do this, you get laid off. If you don't do this, you get fired. You see people going. You can't work.
In IT?
I've seen that in IT. I've seen that in many, like, even if it's real or not real. In Germany, it's not as real as in Spain because the law is very strict. Companies can't just be like, ciao, like Tindering people away. It's impossible. But in Spain, they can. And I've seen them go in. I've been one of those who've been like Tindered away because we've been like told every day, if you don't perform, you're gone. And there's no productivity.
It's quite legal here.
Is it in Poland? Yep. Is it?
Still happening though.
I have plenty of friends that are developers, and they really don't care
About
being fired. Because
probably they will find another job in 15 minutes.
yes, in about a week.
But again, like, just according to science and out of personal experience, the threat of losing your safety net is making human beings freeze. It's like if you're in a relationship and someone threatens you to leave you every day. Oh, I walk out on you, I walk out on you, I walk out on you. You every day like, is he going to walk out on me? Is he going to, you know what I mean? Like, this is, of course it varies from, I'm not like a scientist, but.
It's, not every person feels the same way, but
What do you guys think? Like,
I think companies like C-level, they need to set the example, because I have been part of many design creative thinking trainings, etc. But when it doesn't start from the head, it's not working. It doesn't make people happy. It's something else. It's my observation.
The what?
That's my my observation experience. That it's not only putting creative mindset and putting those tools in the hands of people, but also what you're saying is making them happy.
Like, I would love if you guys come back to me with like your experience, and really, because I don't know, right? Like, we don't really know. No one knows in this world. Like, Aristotle and Plato didn't know. Like, no one knows. But if we start talking about this, when we actually ask someone, how do you feel with the threat hanging above your head, getting fired? Can you sleep? Can you eat? Are you gaining weight? How does my skin broke out? Like, literally, I've been to the spa then, like, after, and she's like, oh my God, you have no stress anymore, huh? I'm like, excuse me? So let's observe. Let's observe together. Like, this is why I'm here, to share what I know, because I know nothing.
If I understood right, the essence is in your approach. I think that the best way to implement innovation is just by hackathons, or you have any other hypothesis at the end, or you suspect something that this is maybe something more. I don't know how you approach this.
So looking at my portfolio, usually everything that was successful in my career was had one similarity, and there was that people had a good time. Like, literally, we had this search project, the last one, Elasticsearch or Solar. I'm like, I'm no technician, so it was to me like a super technical project, but one of the most expensive ones for the company. And then it was two of us who led the project. And it's been mind-blowing because people really had a good time, and I see this through all the projects. So once you give people space to find their own space, significance to everyone, like not only the senior developer is the expert, that everyone is looking at them like, okay, we go left, we go right. No, equality amongst everyone, giving everyone the right to express what they need. What time you want to have the daily? Some want to have at 8 o'clock, others want to have 1 p.m. Having this discussion without being forward, being like, no, I don't care what you want. So being inclusive is another thing that I found very important for innovation. Being like having empathy and seeing if there's a lack of empathy in the group, in the project team or in the standing team, and then talking about this. I had discussions with, like, it's not easy being a woman in IT, especially not when you like having a pen in your hand. You know, it's not easy. And having this kind of confrontation with men who are maybe 20, 25 years older than I am, in positions they have so much more knowledge, but sitting down on a chair and be like, you need to talk. And having this confrontation about emotions has been another key, like leaving space for love, like compassion and fun. I found this in all the things, like design thinking, hackathons, labs, whatever we do, like a stand-up, like dailies with a team. Whenever you focus, if it's human-centered design, then you get whatever you want. Oh.
How do you start this journey from the compliance culture to the creative culture, this revolution?
I don't think it's a revolution, that's it. I think for one, it's an evolution, because a revolution is always very like hurtful and people resist. Sorry?
Yeah, but when we start, we have a whole bunch of people.
Do widzenia.
We have a whole bunch of people who can only be compliant. They have no idea about creativity. So, as you said about the hackathon, you cannot tell them just be creative. Yes. So, how do you start this process?
So, as in for an agile team, for instance, doing FedEx days in an agile team, what is like 24 hours, incremental innovation for very specific problems, for instance. Being very precise, including people in the process of defining assessment criteria. Sitting down with the entire team of an intern, a junior, UX, like the entire team, and being like, what is our criteria? How do we judge? Starting with like in their comfort zone, like as in for the team level. And for the management level, I've been like, to me, the answer, and I'm like so happy if you share, because it's a very hurtful path. It's about sharing knowledge about innovation, horizons. Like when we speak about innovation, what kind of innovation do you want? Benchmarking, a lot of benchmarking. This is what others do, like having videos and pictures of competitors, how they do their innovation. Taking McKinsey data, sharing like depending on the management. If you have a McKinsey management, they want to know the McKinsey data. If you have like a more innovative or like startup culture, they want to know what Tinder and Spotify are doing pretty much. Benchmark, really understanding where you are. This number one, understand the environment you're operating in. Evolution through finding things that are in harmony with the process landscape. If you want to change everything, you won't go far, because people feel offended. If people feel offended, they won't collaborate with you, and then you're out. That's my experience. You guys have thoughts, ideas, comments? Have you tried revolution and failed? Like I did. This is why I know that the revolution doesn't work. I tried it.
Do you think the first line managers can be happy?
The first?
Yeah.
What is the first line manager? Is it like...
These are which are team leaders for their teams, and pushed by the C-level management.
Oh, the sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich is fucked, right? It's hard. I mean, I always found the biggest partners in crime, like if we're thinking of layers of hierarchies, I always found the biggest alliance, like the best ones, in people under this, like directors usually, right? Like if you have the CEO, the next level, under that. I found they're like the most influential personally, but it's very hard. It's like the best is to understand what they need, right?
Yeah.
Just to, yeah.
So the organization should be should have simpler complexity. Then the organization could be happier people.
But then if you try, like if you start with this means people leave. So you want them to go. Ciao, you go. If you know what I mean, like, so like one of the big life lessons for me was really to understand everyone's perspective. Like, you were in this company for 20 years. You've been raised in the belief of hierarchical career paths, and this is also not wrong. There's nothing right or wrong in this world, right? It's only what it is, and it's also just human beings. And I've been like, I think addressing them through empathy, being like, I understand you, and let me bridge the communication to this other part of the organization that you are oblivious to right now.
Do you think it's a good idea to ask C-level management, ask if they are happy in the company?
I only was afraid. I grew up in the hood in Hamburg, like in the poor people hood, with 98% foreigners, immigrants, only immigrants. We had like street fights. I was only afraid of my mom. She was the only one who had power over me. So what I did always at school and in companies, I jump right to the C-level. I don't even, and this is like politically super incorrect, but this is how I operated. This is how I operate, and I do this. I ask them, what do you think? But like I bring my homework, I sit down, I do this, I listen. This is what I do. Yeah, but I do think no one really asks the C-level how they doing. I don't think anyone, like, usually people just ask them yes or no, but they never ask them for their opinion. Super smart people, like incredibly well-educated, super experienced people. I started asking them, what do you think? I don't know. What do you think about this hackathon? What do you think is missing? What do you need? And they're like, excuse me? This is not a yes or no? It's a...
Or 1 to 10?
Yeah. They're like, if you ask your manager, like include your manager, just like as a human being and not as a manager. Hey, you'd be surprised how sweet they are, you know. They're just people.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's you know, it's the same. You know, you have a tension, you have a stress from. There is always, you know, someone above you. Yeah, above the sea level is the board. You know, the shareholders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every quarter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big stress, I believe, and so on every level there is someone above you, and it's a matter of, you know, how do you perceive the satisfaction in the role. Yeah, because like mid-manager role, or somewhere in between, the satisfaction and the job is really, the task is to provide decisions and budget and direction.
Yeah.
And if you realize that, you know, you don't do analytics, you don't do coding, you don't do testing, but what you do, you need to give the people, you know, decision on time, a sure budget, you know, so they don't, you know, kind of solve the problem, like, yeah, and make sure that, you know, you are clear in direction, then you do a good job and you can have a satisfaction out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Ciao. But
maybe this is a great paradox, because this is the meeting, stress and fun, and somehow probably there is a need to bring this fun and this joy to the management board and inspire them somehow.
Yeah.
Because
to propagate it further.
Like everything like this, stress is good.
It's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm.
Bad stress is not good. Too much stress is not good. But stress is good. It's a challenge. Yeah. It's
not per definition. Like the word, as if you Google it, what stress means, it's always negative. But it's just a word.
You know, the stress is when you run 100 meters. It's the stress that makes you run, you know, it faster. Yeah.
But what kind of? But this is like the language that we live in. Stress is something negative, and if we use stress, like, as if we use the words that have a certain meaning, people, you know, like we have this context in this.
That's what I'm saying. There is a good stress and bad stress. So let's not.
I think relaxation.
You know, when you say happiness, happiness, it's one of the dimensions. Yes, part of the dimension is also having a stress, a challenge. Yes, something which really, you know, pumps the adrenaline up. Happiness does not pump adrenaline up.
Do you need high adrenaline level in your work to do good stuff? Because I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I have a feeling that we're living in a world where we constantly feel that we need external challenges and, you know, being pushed harder and harder just to, you know, to perform better and better. But I'm not so sure about that. Like, do you really always need high adrenaline?
Myself, personally, yes. That's why I always, you know, jump into projects and change, not run the business.
Yeah.
I've been doing change the business. Change the business is, you know, more question marks, less predictable. Tomorrow is very different than today. While run the business is, you know, tomorrow is very similar to today.
Okay. I'm not asking
I think this is a good time to end this official part.